called the Gov.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's do it again.
Oh my
All
bad.
right. To check. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I am
Mm.
your host, Adam L. To my right, because the governor, and to my left is Quan Bizzle. You know what I'm saying?
So
And
yes, sir.
this is your rap review. Um, doggone man, I really wanted to do the Nas Magic 3,
Mm.
right? Because just a quick one on that. That joint is nice. I don't think it's a classic like everybody, because you're talking about Nas, so it's certain level that I'm expecting, right? I'm not that guy to say, oh, I'm looking for Illmatic. No, I'm never getting that. And me personally, Illmatic is not my favorite Nas album. It was written as. That's for another story, another time. Give a quick summary on that. I get at a 4.5 mics, 5 being classic, 4.5 mics being extra dope, 3 being go check it out, it's worth it. 2 is mediocre. 1 is you rushed it, and anything other than that is just trash, right? So um just a quick review on the Nas Magic 3. That joint was 4.5. I was probably expecting a little more, but can't expect too much from a man who basically put out 3 projects in 3 months. You know what I'm saying? So let's get to this Drake joint for all my dogs. Boom. Um, I listened to it, man. I listened to it in the whole entirety twice. And then there's little songs you like from the album that you pick from. You get what I'm saying? Um, Me personally, I wouldn't I could have done without 21 Savage, right? Savage. Because he's been on just about every Drake project. I'm surprised I didn't hear Future on here, right?
Sure.
That's another feature I could have did without. But once again, 21 Savage delivered. He did his thing on here. His presence is well known. You get what I'm saying? And he been on a tear lately. So can't hate on the brother. Salute to 21. And we're waiting on an album from him. Hopefully he'll drop before this year's over or next year. I'm excited about that. Um, Let me get down to it. Now, shout out to Hip Hop DX too, because I had to dive deep into, people who really, 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 although God, we're MCs, you know what I'm saying? You're a producer. We've been a fan in this thing since probably, learned how to walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I had to dive into like what are the nerds saying about it? So, I went to Hip Hop DX. Shout out to you guys. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ever see this, holler at us. You know what I'm saying? Let's build. Um, they was telling me, and I got the same thing too. Drake is using a lot of subliminals. You're getting
Yeah.
he's throwing shots at a lot of people, Pusha T, Kanye West,
Mm.
the usual suspects that he don't like. You know what I'm saying? He's throwing a lot of shots out there. What I got from this album, and he's at the career where he was putting all his albums into this project. So you got the crooning
Mm-hmm.
Drake, you got the singy Drake,
Yeah.
you got the rappy Drake, you
Yeah.
got the chameleon Drake that's take
In and out.
in and out and taking what's the new thing he's rapping like the what's in now, right? So
Right.
you're getting all of that. The first one, Virginia Beach. First thing came to my mind is okay, Pusha T Subliminal. You know what I'm saying? Pusha is from Virginia. You know what I'm saying? The clip. Shout out to y'all. You got what's the guy Pharrell Williams from Virginia. He got a little issue with that. So when I heard Virginia Beach, I was like, okay, all right, let me hear that. It sound like a little Pusha references in there. You know what I'm saying? Amen. Good play on words. Like the second song is Amen. A good play on words. Like she need a man. You know what I'm saying? So they use a church reference, but it was geared towards a woman. You know what I'm saying? So that was dope. I think the featuring Tizzo, if I'm pronouncing it right. Then Call For You, featuring 21 Savage. That was dope. Fair Heights, I think there was another Pusha T shot. Daylight, that's the one I could have done without. I didn't go back to that one too much. And then you got First Person Shooter. That right there, how can I put it? You ever heard something dope, but at the same time you said it's just underwhelming to me?
Something, it was too, it seems like formula like to me. Like I know what you mean. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, because when you saying featuring J. Cole, and he just had a dope feature with Little Yachty, right? Everybody's talking, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to Cole. He's a dope MC.
Mm.
But when we diving into lyricism, we dealing with Pharoah Monch. We dealing with Ransom. We dealing with J.R. Payne. We dealing with Conway Machine. We dealing with Max Hyme and those guys. Shout out to all them. You know what I'm saying? But Cole is a top tier lyricist, right? But you know they're gonna pump him up a lot because he's mainstream, right?
Yeah.
Yachty verse was tight, but it was not. To me, it was not gold, right? So, but I'm off the hype of that because you know it's three hit monster, him, Kendrick, and Drake, right?
Right.
And so I'm listening to it. I'm all pumped up. I'm like, man, screw every other song. Go ahead. I'm worrying about this one. And when I heard it, it was a dope song, but it was underwhelming because the beat switches up. Drake is on Drake is on a whole different vibe of what Cole was on. Cole was talking about how dominant he is and how him and Drake is running the rap game right now, Batman and Robin type thing. Um, that was a dope song, but underwhelming because I thought it could have been better. You know, and hurry up, breeze through this. The one slime with SZA that was dope. 6'9", 79, 69. Santa, that was dope. Bahamas, that was dope. The Party Next Door joint was pretty good. The one with Chief Keef, that was surprisingly good. What else? Real quick, the one with Little Yachty. I didn't care too much for that because the one with him and Cole was pretty dope, but and that was what I think Conductor produced it. I'm not sure. No, did he? No, Conductor didn't produce that. What's his name, man? He produces for Zelda sometime. It'll come to please rap people, the rap world, forgive me. It'll come, hopefully it'll come back to my memory before the session is over. And the one I liked it real quick, and I'm gonna let y'all have the stage. My favorite one on here was 8 a.m. in Charlotte. And that was produced by a Conductor.
Okay. And which one you were talking about before? You was asking who the producer was?
Yeah, the one who did produce Little Yachty and J. Cole.
What would Pluto do? No, that's feature. That's Chief Keef.
This not. I'm trying to think of the guy.
J. Cole.
And Yachty, the guy who produced that. It'll come to me, man.
Take Keith, boy.
Nah, white brother. Think of his name. It'll come to me. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look it up while y'all get y'all points on the album.
I think I know you're talking about.
But real quick, I get an album. I give it a 3.5 because I don't think Drake made a classic yet. He made very dope projects. I don't think he made that classic yet. That feel and we're this for another time, another segment. Are there classics in the day's time? Are things so watered down now that we don't, you know what I'm saying? Are we judging albums to be classics and non-classics too soon?
Yeah,
we're giving albums time to live, breathe.
Definitely that. Because everything you say everything's a classic every year, then we forget about them about 2 years later.
Exactly. Or we go back to something that we didn't like and say, "Oh, damn, this is dope."
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Later on, it does happen. I've always had that happen when I got an album and I just listen. After a while, I stopped liking the ones that I love the most. But it was good to hear. I like to hear. I see Lil Yachty got quite a bit of production credit on this album, though.
Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
But the overall sound, I did like the sound. I like the sound of this album a lot. The production, he's always on point. I thought too long though. hour 24. That's a bit.
Yeah, because the album started to lose. I would have been happy with 11 songs.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I would have been happy with 11 songs, but I want to take a different approach with you, Gov. Since you're a producer, how did it feel sonically to you?
Sonically, yeah, that's what I liked. It was very you can hear a lot of experimenting going on, like sound, like the things that they were sampling, what they sampled. It wasn't like the same typical type of stuff. You hear like a lot of the vocal samples, when they chop up vocals.
Yeah,
A lot of that early on because it was like a lot of when he'd be doing a lot of the singing, so that works for a lot of that. But I liked how a lot of the transitions are coming there. You know what I mean? It's almost like a movie. He's like, because that's
especially from the opener. Because
yeah.
I heard they got that sample from what was the guy from All Future, the singer? Frank Ocean. Is it no Billy Frank Ocean, right? Frank Ocean. I'm about to say Billy Ocean. Frank Ocean cleared the sample, and that joint, like you said, it comes on like a movie. You know what I'm saying? So
when you're doing that, that's his ability to throw his shots. He can throw subliminal shots and make it look like they visual. You know what I mean? That's why he throwing out the Virginia, being slick how he does what he do.
Yeah,
he does. He sets it up very well. That's what I like about. That's what I like about the way he puts his album, and it's the whole team really. The way that they put their albums together,
and he makes his enemies or his ops think. Even if the song, even if it's something personal that they know that the world don't know, that they would catch on, right?
Right.
You got to be a real hip hop nerd to catch on to it. Like again, shout out to Hip Hop DX, right? The word Virginia Beach. Drake is the king of petty. So that's giving like Pusha T, like, okay, this let me tune into this.
Right.
Those like the T and the drama in hip hop. Let me tune into it.
And the funny thing about that is, Pusha T, you know the image of Pusha T. He's hardcore, you know what I mean? But these songs are like some relationship, oh, you let me down type. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's another way that he's hitting them at another, you know what I mean? He's very psychological with the way he throws his shots. So if you was a fan, if you watch like villain movies or movies with villains in it, and you just like to watch the way the villain, a very good villain, he plays that very well.
Exactly. You know who was good at that too? Jay-Z. I think he studied a lot of Jay-Z. But Jay-Z is the king of subliminals too. You won't catch on until like 2 years down the road who he's talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The producer is Alchemist.
Okay.
Yeah. He produced, I believe he produced the J. Cole and Little Yachty or Yachty's a joint that just came out. All you hip hop heads to tune in. If I'm wrong, correct me, please. You know what I'm saying? But getting back to what you were saying real quick, Gov. Yeah, he does have a psychological approach on his opposition and how he attacks his opposition. And he does enough. I think it's mastermind. I don't think no one really has done that since LL Cool J, where he has beef, but he's drawing in a female audience at the same time, a certain demographic, right?
Exactly.
But he's also drawing in the male audience, you know what I'm saying? All you closet Drake fans out there.
You gotta respect it.
Exactly. And they want to know about the T. You get what I'm saying? And anytime you have your opposition listening to your music, you get what I'm saying? You done won. Because a lot of opposition, let's just call it like it is. A lot of them like, man, you ain't even worth my time listening to.
Because if you on the Pusha T side, right, you want Drake to answer him the same way that Pusha T would come at him. You want him to kind of enter that same realm. You want him to, all right, go ahead, but he won't do it.
Exactly. And you want him to talk about you because I love Pusha T. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you who's the best rapper. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that. I'm a smart man.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. But I will tell you this, politically, I love both of them. They both of them dope, right? You may can say one have ghostwriters, one don't. You know what I'm saying? but both of them make dope music. Both of them make different type of sonic. They're
Right.
sonically different,
Yep.
but both of them are dope artists, right? But
Mm.
if I'm a Pusha T, I wanted Drake to come after me because that gives me relevance. That has, again, Drake demographic, his core audience is listening in.
Yeah.
And you may not get all the fish in the net, but you're gonna get a couple fish.
Some
How
of
many
them-
Drake fans that came over to Pusha T when Pusha T was dropping that verse?
Mhm.
Even if they hated him, they went to go listen to him, right?
Right.
Mm.
They got familiar with him.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to take too much energy away from the album review. I give it a 3.5, right? Because once again, I just think that music in general is either too cookie cut, too microwave, or too lackadaisical because you're living in a day's time where people want to hear things just like that, and people are busy. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just listening to the album I'm working on, and I said to myself, and we, like you said, we're harsh critics of ourselves, right? I said to myself, I said, some days I listen to it and say, oh man, this may be dope, right? And some days I say to myself, damn, I ain't put enough into this. No intros, I ain't give it too much thought. I ain't dived that deep. But sometimes you just gotta let the audience decide what's up.
Right.
Long as I think we spoke on this, Gov. Long as you send it out to the world and you love it, you know what I'm saying? Everybody else opinions is just, come with the territory.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what do you give it out of 5? 5 being a classic, 4 being very dope, 3 worth checking out, 2 mediocre, 1 is like, oh man, microwave cookie cutter, anything underneath that ain't even worth listening to tell you the truth. So what do you think?
Early on, I give it a 3, but I need to
3.
listen to it some more though.
Go back. Yeah, I'm with you. So what's up, Quan Bizzle? What you think, man?
The album is trash automatically. It's garbage.
Oh man.
It's garbage. I mean, I'm gonna be straight to the point when I say this. It's trash.
Mm.
Every song on there is trash. Probably, but the J. Cole and like the one with J. Cole in it, but that's still trash. Nothing really impressive. He hasn't really came out with anything impressive for a couple years now. Actually, it's trash.
Are you saying this from a bias standpoint because you're not a Drake fan, or you just saying it because
No, listen to Drake music. No, listen to Drake music. I like some of his songs. I got some of his songs on my playlist, but it's trash. I'm gonna tell it how it is. It's trash. I can't pretend as if there's any good songs on there because he put big names and heavy hitters on his album. Now I'm supposed to look at it, be like, no, it's trash. Automatically, he didn't put no work in it. It's just something that was rushed, and it's something that I will give it a 0, a -0 actually.
Wow, that's great.
I mean, it's not good. It compares to nothing due to his past projects.
Yeah.
Until he come out with something good, it's trash. Every song on there is trash.
What would make
subliminal disses.
What would make a good Drake album? Would you want him to be more intimate, more personal with his life? I mean, because he's sitting at the top. So I mean, it ain't nothing that, at this point that he can aspire to talk about except for his past life, right? And he does that sometimes. Starting from the bottom. This is what I used to. He said this in the album that we're looking at now. You know what I'm saying? What's it, For All My Dogs?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He goes into perspective of what he used to do before he got on. You get what I'm saying? But what would Drake need you guys to make a classic? Because he keep making dope albums, in my opinion. Except for the one that he was singing. Or I don't know which one that was. I didn't give that one too much of a listen. You know what I'm saying? But what would put Drake in that classic realm, like the artists that came before him, his predecessors, where they didn't make classics? What would put him in that Illmatic classic, that Ready to Die, that Reasonable Doubt? What would put Drake in today's time are rappers capable of making classics nowadays? You get what I'm saying? Kendrick came out with an album, what, roughly 2 years ago, right?
Yep.
And I went back to it a little bit. I still don't feel that classical feeling.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I will say dope project, but what would make Drake, in your opinion, what would make Drake, you know, what would make him have like a classical album? Your opinion? Or is he capable? Is he? Or let me know, is he an
Nah,
artist that's capable of making a classic?
nah, nah. Should have stayed on release. That album should have stayed on release.
Oh man,
I mean, honestly, he had a better chance coming out with diss track than that whole album itself. It's just the whole album should have been a throwaway. I don't know who decision it was to put Sexy Red on that album, how much they
oh yeah,
paid.
I didn't
Like
like. I
that's
did.
no, come on,
I didn't
come
like
on.
that joint. I did
Mm-mm.
not. I didn't like it.
Nah,
I understood. I understood the political move, right? I understood the political move. I understood the move that you know. Again, she's big now. Right now, she's probably the top female out there that everyone's
no
talking about,
substance.
right?
That might be what's wrong.
And it's a club song, right?
Mm.
Well, first thing I heard, I'm like, okay, for the people that's still into the strip club scene or it gave me a Miami vibe. You know what I'm saying? At the beach,
So,
you know what I'm saying? He's thinking ahead of time. So I like the move that his attention, but
you know
as
what I
far
mean?
as like Juan said, Dizzle said, it don't have no type of substance to it. But
Mm.
I'm not looking for substance when I'm looking, hearing the Sexy Red feature. You get what I'm saying? But you know, but
See, I
what
think the thing would have made it better. Say like the J. Cole song. They should have made that like a concept type of a song or something. So that way it would have been like, did you hear what they was talking about? Or the
yeah.
way they spit on there lyrically. They could have went like that. I think if they did something like that for say some of the other features that he had, I think that would have really strengthened the album. But when you got it, but see these big runners with all these names, because I'm looking at all the names, I think that's the way that these albums have been lately, where you get like these big all-star cast is a lot like the all-star game. You look at the NBA All-Stars born, you know what I mean? So it's the same thing when you
They're
catch
not going they're not gonna play as hard.
right,
No,
Don't expect, very hard ball pause.
right.
Um don't expect that. Like and I think that's what happened to Schoolboy last album. And he told you, he said, he said it on a podcast recently, like that's not Blank Face. Blank Face was a classic. You can go back to Blank Face and say, oh, that's no. The album he had after that, Crash or something like that. I forgot the name of it.
Right.
Give me PD, my apologies, right, Schoolboy, but he said it, he didn't like it. It was a political move. It does Drake fall in that category as a political rapper? Like me personally, like I said, Drake has made very, very dope albums. Excuse me. He has not let me down, but he doesn't have not gotten that classical. Maybe I gotta go back and relive that.
Hmm.
We may have to do a review on that. The one where he's in Toronto. Is it the sixth album? Let me hold on. Views from the Six.
Okay.
To me, that had like a classical feeling. To me, that had like it felt like a rapper out of Toronto. It gave me that feeling to where every time it gets very cold, it took me back to that. Actually, I listened to it when we had snow and when the weather got very frigid. You get what I'm saying? So if I got to go back to a classical album that he can probably, I thought he probably, produced was Views from the Six, and the one where he's sitting in front the album with all the candles and stuff like that. I think that's classic. You know what I'm saying? So me personally, I think Drake probably produced two classics. But recently, I think it's kind of difficult for artists now to produce classics, right? Known artists that we know of. I think you probably got to go to the underground circuit to get that feeling.
I bet. I agree.
Gotta go to the underground circuit to get that feeling. So Quan Dizzle gave it a 0. You done broke you done made guess I said history.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Giving somebody a 0. a Drake 0. Watch it back.
That's right.
You gave it a 3, right?
Yeah.
And
Gotta
I gave
listen more.
I gave it 4.5, and I may go back and keep it at 4.5 because, like you said, the album playlist was too long. And if he would, me personally, if he would have kept it at 10 and left some of those features off the album, but had those songs for like a single or put it on that album,
Right.
I think that would have been a better move,
Yep.
right? That would have been a better move. They didn't need to be on there. Sexy Red didn't need to be on there. Not saying that he didn't have to do a song with her, right? Do the song, but put it on her album or make it a single, right?
Yeah.
Individual joint. But I could have done without that. I could have done without the Chief Keef,
Yeah.
And I guess it's East Coast bias, but I could have done without the Chief Keef. It's hard to deny 21 Savage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
Hard to deny that.
21 and Metro Boomin together.
Exactly. It's hard to deny that.
Yeah.
No, that's just one of those artists when you like, oh, here you go again. But then you listen to it like, yeah.
But it works.
Real quick before we leave, that's the feeling I got from listening to this album.
Mhm.
Just when I thought the song was underwhelming, it didn't deserve to be on there, my patience kicked in. I said, this is a dope song, but it could have been placed somewhere else. I didn't hate the songs. I didn't do what Quan Bizzle did, hate, this completely dislike. You know what I'm saying? This song was why I mentioned earlier. You ever listen to something that was so nice at the same time underwhelming? Like just left saying that, damn, he could have did better.
But see, that makes sense though, because you expect excellence out of Drake.
Exactly.
So when he's dropping less than that, it makes sense to have that reaction, like, oh, this is you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had to like push through. I had to push through, like especially like the first 6-7 hour songs. You know what I mean? Like the first, but then like 21, it started kind of picking up with me a little bit. Like, all right, good. But then it went right back down again. Because for All My Dogs, right? You think about All My Dogs, and I know I'm about to date myself, but DMX was the first thought I thought in my mind. So when I'm thinking
DMX is inspired, right?
Right, and there's a certain energy.
Real quick, keep the energy, Gov. Real quick, we're forgetting the element that was in here. Snoop Dogg.
True.
Remember, he played the disco jockey.
Yeah,
that was a '90s element. The NWA used to do all the time. And then he had somebody else on here, Pimp or something like that. I forgot the name.
Yeah.
But what you just said. Thank you. I know I was forgetting something. I said this is DMX inspired. Inspired. Is DMX inspired, bro? Continue real quick, and then we're gonna close it. Quan Bizzle,
the disappointing thing to me was with it being dogs. I expected a certain energy, like a dog, like aggressiveness.
Yeah.
So that's what disappointed me.
Like if you reading his letters too late, that they had that album was very controversial due with the Quentin Miller situation, right? The ghostwriter allegations. But that if you listen to that, you go back to that album. I think it's not an album. He put it as a mixtape, right? But that was the most grungiest Drake,
right?
And I guess we was expecting that, right? But he put all the elements into his past projects into this one. Once again, I'm gonna end it. Certain features he could have done without. It could have been, as far as set for a single. Cut down the album, numbers to like 10, 11 could have been decent for me. You get what I'm saying? And all in all, it's like maybe we gotta go back and listen to it, let it rest, and vote. Come back next year and listen to it. It may have a different effect. Quan Dizzle, what's your last your sound off? You said it was trash, and I guess you want to keep it.
Hey, Drake, if you hear me, if you ever watch this,
no.
Take a break. Don't come back until you release something good. That goes for every other artist that's releasing music. Found any substance, you put Sexy Red on your album. Come on, like you already knew that album was gonna be a failure one way or another.
Oh man, it's
Sexy
crazy.
Red and Chief Keef. Chief Keef haven't been relevant since what, like 2012. Like we like very disappointing. Very disappointing. If I could give it any number lower than 0, then I would. But
Wow.
that's what it is.
Oh, that's another hip hop segment on Guess I Said, man.
Right.
I'm your host, Adam L. You rocking with,
Sick cuz the governor.
and
Dizzle.
that's what's up, man. Peace out.
Right.